Trump fires 17. Federal watchdogs sparking outcry over independence and accountability. President Donald Trump dismissed 17 independent inspectors general across various federal agencies late Friday, as confirmed by a Trump administration official to Fox News. The move is part of Trump's broader effort to reshape the federal government, sparking criticism and concerns about accountability. The firings affected watchdogs at agencies including the Department of Defense, Department of State, Department of Energy, Department of Housing and Urban Development, and the Department of Veterans Affairs. According to reports, the dismissed officials were notified via email from the White House Presidential Personnel Office, as first reported by The Washington Post. "It's a widespread massacre," one of the terminated inspectors general told the Post. "Whoever Trump puts in now will be viewed as loyalists, and that undermines the entire system." Senator Chuck Grassley, chairman of the Senate Judiciary Committee, criticized the firings, raising questions about their legality. Federal law requires the president to provide Congress with 30 days notice before removing an independent watchdog. There may be good reason the IGs were fired. "We need to know that if so," Grassley said in a statement. Regardless, the 30-day detailed notice of removal that the law demands was not provided to Congress. Inspectors general are tasked with investigating waste, fraud, and abuse within federal agencies. They operate independently and typically serve across multiple administrations to ensure nonpartisan oversight. Critics argue that Trump's firings jeopardize the independence of these watchdogs and compromise their role as checks on executive power. The mass dismissal aligns with Trump's efforts to reshape the federal bureaucracy. Earlier in his second term, Trump shut down diversity, equity and inclusion programs, rescinded job offers, and sidelined over 150 national security and foreign policy officials. His administration has prioritized replacing officials who oppose his agenda with loyalists who would carry out his directives without hesitation. Among the few spared was Department of Justice Inspector General Michael Horowitz. Horowitz led the investigation into the FBI's handling of the Russian collusion probe, which revealed significant inaccuracies in the FBI's FISA warrant applications during the Crossfire Hurricane investigation. Senator Elizabeth Warren condemned Trump's actions, describing them as a purge of independent watchdogs in the middle of the night. President Trump is dismantling checks on his power and paving the way for widespread corruption, Warren wrote on X, formerly known as Twitter. Trump's actions echo a similar pattern from his first term, during which he fired 5 inspectors general in less than 2 months in 2020. Notably, this included the State Department Inspector General, who had played a role in the impeachment proceedings against Trump. The firings have reignited debate over the balance of power between the executive branch and independent oversight, raising concerns about transparency and accountability in the federal government. On Friday, President Donald Trump signed an executive order to end the use of federal taxpayer dollars to fund or promote elective abortion. The order recognizes that for nearly 5 decades, Congress has enacted the Hyde Amendment and a series of additional laws to protect taxpayers from being forced to pay for abortion. Contrary to this long-standing common-sense policy, the previous administration embedded federal funding of elective abortion in a wide variety of government programs. To restore this long-standing policy, the order rescinds 2 executive orders from President Biden that violate the Hyde Amendment. Executive Order 14076 imposed a whole-of-government effort to promote and fund abortion and to politicize enforcement of the Freedom of Access to Clinic Entrances (FACE) Act. Federal statutes protecting access to emergency medical care for pregnant women under the Emergency Medical Treatment and Labor Act (EMTALA), and protecting personal health information under the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act (HIPAA) remain in full effect. Executive Order 14079 recategorized abortion as healthcare in order to provide taxpayer funding for elective abortions. This included using Medicaid funding to pay for travel costs for elective abortions, ending federal funding of abortion overseas. President Donald Trump also signed a presidential memorandum reinstating the Mexico City policy to stop the use of federal taxpayer dollars for abortion overseas. The president's policy from 2017 is reinstated to ensure that no U.S. taxpayer money supports foreign organizations that perform or actively promote abortion in other nations. The first Trump administration also extended this policy to global health assistance. A 2020 report by the United States Agency for International Development found that this life-affirming policy in no way diminished women's health around the world. Protecting taxpayers from funding abortion. For the first time in nearly 50 years, President Trump returned the issue of life to a vote of the people, from within the states. Dobbs v. Jackson Women's Health Organization, 597 U.S. 215, 2022, overturned Roe v. Wade and returned the power to regulate issues of life and safety to the people. 3 of the justices deciding the case were appointed by President Trump. Federal overreach and taxpayer dollars will no longer force violations of faith and conscience, or impede the ability of states to determine life policies through a vote of the people. For example, under President Biden, the Department of Defense reimbursed abortion-related travel expenses, the Department of Veterans Affairs allowed hospitals to provide abortions, and the Department of Health and Human Services paid for abortions for illegal immigrants. President Trump promised and delivered. President Trump promised to protect and defend a vote of the people, from within the states, on the issue of life. Today's executive actions build on the long list of accomplishments from the first Trump administration to support the sanctity of every human life and prevent taxpayer funding of abortion. Select highlights of the first Trump administration's work include reinstated and expanded the Mexico City policy, ensuring that taxpayer money is not used to fund abortion globally. Issued a rule preventing Title X taxpayer funding from subsiding the abortion industry. Cut all funding to the United Nations Population Fund, which supports coercive abortion and forced sterilization. Signed legislation overturning the previous administration's regulation that prohibited states from defunding abortion facilities as part of their family planning programs. Fully enforced the separate payment requirement for abortion coverage in Obamacare exchange plans. Stopped the federal funding of fetal tissue research. Work to protect healthcare entities and individuals' conscience rights, ensuring that no medical professional is forced to participate in an abortion in violation of their beliefs. Issued an executive order reinforcing the requirement that all hospitals in the United States provide medical treatment or an emergency transfer for infants who are in need of emergency medical care, regardless of prematurity or disability. Led a coalition of countries to sign the Geneva Consensus Declaration, declaring that there is no international right to abortion and committing to protecting women's health. First president in history to attend the March for Life. Please like and subscribe to our channel for more updates.